Hello and welcome everybody. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for joining in on a Saturday morning. Lovely morning, great weather in Delhi here. So welcome to this podcast, The Future of Web. This is a show, that talks about Web3 technologies. The intention of this show is to educate people, to increase understanding and a wider adoption of this technology. Here we discuss the current state of Web3 and how different personnel, like be it founder, developer, investor, marketer, designer, community manager, is helping or impacting this space through their product or service. Hi, my name is Alek, and I am the founder of Animal Solution. It's a Web3 technology services company. Here we do a lot of cool stuff. We'll talk about it, a lot later. You can go check our website for information. Right. So, talking about coming back to the show and talking about the guest today, it's we have a instead of one we have two today. So it's a dynamic duo, Shashank and Indranil, who have taken the responsibility, who want to make sure that all the products which are building in Web3, uh, they are secure. So this, so here we're going to talk about their product, how they are building it, what they have done, how they're going to go ahead and impact the environment and the system. They are the founders of Credshields, an organization which works in the security domain and does a few things like keeping web applications secured, doing smart contract code reviews, as well as performing security audits of cloud infrastructure. The key product, Solidity Scan, can be used for automated scanning of smart contracts to discover vulnerabilities and mitigate risks of the code. So I'm going to introduce both guys one by one. So for Shashank, he's the CEO of Credshields. He's someone who started ethical hacking at the age of 14, and he has helped a lot of companies secure, secure themselves. And his name is mentioned in the Hall of Fame of companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and others. So let's just go ahead and welcome Shashank. Hello, Shashank.
Hey, hi. Hello, everyone.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good
Good.
morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Very well. Fantastic. So now let's just get Indranil, who is the CTO of TechShields, who joined the organization in 2022 of January this year, and since then, obviously being a CTO, he's played an integral role in part of their growth. Excuse me. Before that, he was working as a solution provider with Deloitte India, and like Shashank, Indranil was also involved in a lot of bug bounties, and his name is also mentioned in Hall of Fame of companies like Tesla, Cisco, SoundCloud, and others. So let's go ahead and welcome Indranil as well. Hello, Indranil. How are you?
Hey Alec, how you doing? Good
Very
morning.
well. How are you?
Yes, thank you for the warm introduction. Happy to be a part of it. Looking forward to it.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, guys. First of all, Saturday morning, early morning. Were you working late last night?
Yeah, we
Actually,
did.
yes.
Not late nights, but it is what it is.
No, thank you so much again. Coming in early morning. And so the question that I would really want to ask, both of you is, what is it that you really look forward to, every morning? What makes you get up in the morning?
And then we'll go ahead.
So it's like the drive to build something. I'm getting a bit of an echo. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's okay
Okay.
here.
Yeah. It's like the drive to build something like, back when when the COVID wave came, there were a lot of startups flourishing. So that's when I started reading about startup founders, understanding their mindset and how they approach to a problem. So then when Shashank invited me to join, I found that this is a really, interesting problem to solve in the Web3 space. And that is what, you get up in the morning, you know that these are the tasks that are important. This is the problem that you need to solve in this industry. So that's what gives you the drive. each morning.
Oh, absolutely. Shashank, what
Uh,
about you?
for me, I mean, it's fun because that's what I have been doing as a teenager. Finding security flaws, and now that when I'm running my own company, mostly, it's like before going to bed, we and Indranil talk that what's next step we have to take. We discuss lots of things, whatever is ongoing. Then we put a mind map that tomorrow these things we have to get it done. So we wake up and then it's like greet our team, tell them what we need to do, what we need to improve, and it's fun. So I never had any issue waking up.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So like for me, I was mostly a late sleeper. So I would work more late in the night, right? And then it give you a lot of calm. And then and then getting up early morning was a little challenge, for a lot of times. But then when you learn to live with it, and somehow body adapts as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
No,
like
great.
the definition of morning has changed now. Morning is 9 or 10. If you ask me to wake up at 6, until unless it's not important, it's gonna hard for me as well. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm trying to get back, to my routine of getting up at 5:36 in the morning. So let's
wow.
see how I do that. It's not really, getting up. It's a challenge. It's sleeping on time is the challenge.
Yeah. And for us, it's the same. It's like most of our customers, investors, they are all in US hours, especially PST hours is like 13 and a half different. So it starts at midnight. So I mean, it's like it's hard for us as well.
Oh yeah, no worries, man. I'm sure you'll get used to your routine and build life around it.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's get to know you a little more. Before you dwell a little more, how you working through Credshields and how you solving big problems, which are I think a big. Like yesterday we had a hack. Yesterday or I think day before on BSC, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so we'll talk about that. How the product is helping. But let's just try and understand you a little better. So if you guys want to share a little secret about you which you have not really shared earlier with others, what is it that you want to talk about? Shashank, you go first, please.
Yeah. So, I mean, my life story has been like that. I got interested into security, and initially I was in army school, so I didn't even have computer as my, I mean, it's like core subject. But then it's like the more I started reading about it, more I got interested, and it's nice that it's like when I got on the internet, the first thing I started to do was learn about security. This has been a very long journey. It's like I started my career, it's like as a bug bounty hunter because I heard that it's like Google, Facebook, Microsoft. That time there were really very few companies, but they used to pay you for finding flaws. And um, I learned few things, and then I would spend a lot of time. It's like my first bug in Google was took me almost 3.5 months to just get one bug, but
Wow.
yeah, I mean, it's like I was not very experienced that time, so it was worth a try, and it was very rewarding. That it's like if you get to find a bug in Google when you're 14 and your name gets displayed in their security hall of fame. So that was the fun part. But it's like inside me, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I realized that I like solving problems, and I like especially solving problems through tech because I've been a techie, since my teenage. So my first attempt to start a company actually failed, and that was during college days. But then I learned a lot of things which I corrected with this startup, and that's the whole journey of my story. It's like first I started with bug bounties, then I got into job as a security consultant during my college itself. So I was from the first year itself, I was working as security consultant for a Malaysian company, and then later on I joined HackerOne. And after 1.5 year, I decided that I think it is time to fix my previous mistakes and start something of my own again. So that's all
No,
from my
nice.
side.
Absolutely great. I think the entrepreneurial spirit that you had, which you realized early on,
Yeah.
which doesn't happen for a lot of people. So what happens is, as a standard practice, you start, you study, then you look for a job, you start somewhere, and then kind of rise up the ladder, and then somehow people kind of decide that this is what I wanted to do or this I don't want to do, right? But it's great, like to having that vision of yourself quite early in life, so that helps. So here we are, like second or third startup. This is Credshields for you.
I mean, there are few things which I tried which doesn't even count. But if you talk about proper startups, this is second. First one failed. I did fail a couple more, but I won't even call them a startup because we didn't do anything. Like we were just building something and we could not even build it, or we could not even sell it. We could not even register it. So, not counting them.
That's okay. So that could be a trial thing, right? Then you go
Yeah,
don't
it's
follow
like
standard.
when I was in 11th, I was in Delhi, it's like preparing for universities. During that time, it's like I had a startup idea because that time AWS was not there. So I thought, like, why not bring a server and it's like be a web hoster. I had a friend who had a server. We tried to build everything, but we didn't manage to, sell subscriptions. So people would buy our web hosting services. So I won't count that as startup, but yeah, it's like it was there in me. I always wanted to try things. So
Nice, very nice, very nice. Cool. So Indranil, what about you? One quick secret that you have not told everybody or anybody, in fact.
Uh, like Shashank knows most of my secrets, and as much as focused he has been since the early stages of life, I have been a generalist myself. Like I started with chemical engineering, shifted to IT, then started with coding, moved into hacking, uh, ethical hacking, and then I met Shashank in college, and I was basically reading a book on hacking, and he was sitting beside me. So then he guided me, and I got into this hacking space where get bug bounties, you get paid for hacking, and that is how my journey started mostly. And even till date, like I haven't like I have I've been a generalist always. Like when there's a new thing to explore, Shashank says, and then we'll go do that. We need people in that, and have to I move to that particular domain. Like so even if I'm the CTO of the company, my role involves tech, different kind of management, business, and it's more like a generous role. So yeah, like one secret would be, if you're starting up with something, you cannot be just focused on one particular thing. Your role is very wide. When you start a startup, you need to understand a lot about finance, you need to understand a lot about accounting, HR activities, legal, and so that's what, like, you constantly learn. And once you later start to scale, that's when you can have different people for it. But in the earlier stages, I mean, you have to handle everything, kind of.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You become, we have multiple hats being a, startup founder. So that's a very, very important thing. So now, so let's move a little further in the discussion. So now, see, security has been a challenge, right? You have a lot of big players in security, right? And now with a lot of hacks coming into, especially on blockchain. So my question to you, would be to understand that what got you interested in blockchain? Like why smart contracts? Why blockchain? It's a very new field. Why that?
yeah, so I'll answer that. So probably it started with me. So I have the answer. So the thing is, I was into Web2 security for almost 10 years. It's like doing bug bounties, joining, then being a pen tester, then joining full-time jobs. So I learned lot of things, the entire journey, because even in Web 2, I was among the early adopters. Like when you talk about, way back in 2013, 2014, even LinkedIn didn't have an option where you can put yourself as a security engineer or security consultant. So
Yeah.
I was an early adopter there. And, it's like my, when I used to do freelance, it's like security stuff. So I used to get paid in my PayPal account. And one day my PayPal just banned my account, and because of the stigma, because it's like it's for ethical hacking. So they banned my account, which was very weird because PayPal had their own bug bounty program and they paid me, but it's like their other team didn't understand, like, why did I get payment for. So then I heard about cryptocurrencies and was like, wow, this is amazing. There is almost negligible fees. It's I don't have to wait in the bank for like 4 days to get my credit. And I, like, it's like any foreign transaction in India, it's so tough to get. You need to sign every transaction, you need to sign a document, and then they process it, and there are heavy charges. So that got me interested into cryptocurrencies. But The real fun began when Ethereum came in and people started building smart contracts. So while I was at HackerOne doing my job, I was actively reading about smart contract security because I saw a lot of hacks happening there. So then one day, I just wanted a break, so I quit my job, and I was just laying still for 15 days, and then I started reading more deeply into these, and then I figured out that it resembles the same problem which Web 2 faced. First, there is a lack of talent. So it's like if you right now, if you go to tier one security companies, you have wait time of 6 months, and they charge you heavy amounts, and that's all because of the demand and supply problem. So the first thing was it's like lack of talent, and second thing was lack of automation, and that's how Solidity Scan was born. I realized why is nobody doing an automation here? That happened in Web 2 as well. It's like initially you have lack of talent, and then to manage the gap, you bring in automation, and then automation and manual talent, it's like they go hand to hand. And I was pretty sure that this is going to work. So I started drafting vulnerability patterns for Solidity Scan, and that's when it's like I pitched it to Indranil that would you be interested in writing the backend of that. And that's how it's like we and Indranil joined hands to build this amazing product.
Oh yeah, interesting journey. So how would you suggest, you say that how what were your challenges? So okay, you understand, you coming from a very good background in Web 2 for data security, and you understand things much better than anybody else, and having doing bug bounties for a lot of big brands, and trying to being there, like you got your hands dirty,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So how has your experience been, like in terms of challenges? So was it easier to build in Web 2 because it was already an established space and you had, big players already talking about it? You were just, like a smarter piece in the whole chain, which would solve the problem. But now coming to Web 3, this was totally new. One, there were hacks, a lot of negative association around that. Then it's a new technology. Ethereum came in 2014. So, you had to learn and understand, because having security is more about understanding the core, right? And smart contracts are primarily introduced by Ethereum. So, what were your challenges there? So if we could start with you, Shashank, and then Indranil can come in.
So, to be very honest, it was not more of a challenge, but it was an advantage. So, I mean, as a person, I know myself very well. So, I'm not a great, it's like marketer or salesman. So, it's like if you want to start up, like let's talk about business. If you want to start up in an already existing company, which is Web 2, there are already lots of products, and there is no edge of being an early adopter. I mean, it's like at this stage because there are lots of companies, and I mean, it's like if you right now if you want to start something in Web 2, I have tons of ideas, but again, you need to be a salesman to to compete with other products. So for me, what it was like, I was very good at research. So it's like I was pretty sure, it's like if I sit down and start penning down, vulnerability patterns, I would be way ahead than my competitors. So and then learning about sales and marketing and business, that's something I'll have enough time while I'm building my product. So that's why that was my strategy. Learn on the way, and at least take advantage of what you are good at, like what is the positive thing in you, and then whatever is lacking, you can learn it on the way. So that was my main idea. And plus what I believe is like if you're doing business, or even personally, I have been a very stubborn kind of it's like with rigid with my ideas. Starting into security was not easy for me as well. Like my parents were like, what he is doing, nobody understands. Like everyone wants you to be a software developer in India if you're an engineer. So so I was like very strong headed that I want to do this, and for to do something you have to be very interested in that. You need to be very vested in that, so you put in a lot of time and efforts. And this was interesting because these hacks are something I was not aware of. I was reading about them, I was doing research. So it's like I just put positive things in plus. It's fun, and it's like it's something I'm good at. And the later things will catch up because being early into this. So that was my whole plan.
Oh, nice. So Indranil, what do you think about it?
Yeah, echoing to what Shashank said earlier, there's a lack of talent in this space, and also one thing I feel is a challenge at the moment is there's a lot of lack of awareness in the space. Like developers who are coming here, they want to learn new things and they want to learn it fast. And without, understanding the security aspect of it or what kind of security challenges come along with it, they just want to build, participate in hackathons, win prizes, get their project live. So this is what one main challenge has been, raising awareness around security. And the other challenge that's not specific to security is like, uh, Web3 or crypto users, they like to maintain a certain amount of anonymity. And so talking to them for feedback has been a challenge that we have been facing. And we have been, working on it. And now we are far more ahead than where we are when we started.
Interesting point. So this is something that like people in Web3 space want to be, like in the shadows, is what I understand, right? Why is that? I mean, that's an interesting point.
Uh, so it's mostly because the incentives around Web3 are mostly into development at the moment. I mean, there's a lack of incentives in security. I mean, there is Immunify providing bug bounties, but you need to, I mean, you need to read more compared to what you need to read for development. You know how much you need to learn, and that is mostly, one major point I think that is causing this.
Oh, interesting point of view. So how do you see, like coming into this blockchain and making sure that the smart contracts are verifiable? So let's talk a little bit about Solidity Scan, right? So how do you envision that solving this problem?
I mean, if you talk about Solidity Scan, so it's like we saw a problem. There are certain set of people. There is a market fit for people where they don't have a lot of money. They are just starting their product, and it's like they cannot pay hefty fees for manual audits, or maybe they are still in development stage and they want to weed out, it's like a maximum of their vulnerabilities. So that was an untapped area, because it's like most of the companies, they were just doing manual audits, and manual audits are not scalable. It's like even if I want to get a small work done, I'll need a report, I'll need code reviews, which takes time, so obviously it's going to be expensive. What Solidity Scan does is, it's like you just upload your smart contract, and within like max to max 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, you get all the list of all the vulnerabilities. And then you can, it's like you have a description, you have suggested remediation, that it's like how you can fix this vulnerability. And when it's like if a developer can go there, he gets a result, he she gets the result, and then they fix the vulnerability, they perform a rescan to make sure that it's like our scanner, what it does is like it will automatically detect that what all bugs were there in previously, and when you rescan it, they will inform that these things have been fixed. And then the biggest problem right now for like the biggest difference in web 2 and web 3, which is a good one, is in web 3 people demand for security reports. Like it's not the same in web 2. Like web 2, it's very hardly you will see people actually disclose their security audit reports. There is still a stigma that they don't want to showcase what vulnerabilities have been fixed. But it's completely opposite in web 3. Nobody's going to interact with your smart contract if you don't have an audit report submitted to the community. So audit reports are very essential. And so what we did was like we automated that thing as well. So based on all the vulnerabilities you got and what the vulnerabilities you fixed, when you click on generate a report and make it public, it it's like it creates this industry standard report which people write manually. So we completely automated that. So you can just it's like you can publish a report and go with the audit report to it's like showcase it to the community that it's like these many bugs were found and we have fixed this, and here is the report. And this happens all at a click of a button, so saving a lot of time and a lot of money. So that's what our product, the product is doing. That's our product is solving.
Sure. So here I would like to ask you, Indranil. So once you've developed and once I use Solidity Scan, I get my smart contracts audited, right? Is there a need for me as a company who's developing something on Ethereum or a smart contract to get it manually verified as well.
So yeah, that is correct. I mean, no kind of automated solution can give you 100% security. And like before going to mainnet or before going live to product, we always recommend that you go through a manual review of it. What Solidity Scan does is during the initial stages of your project development life cycle, it keeps giving you feedback with respect to security on your code that you're developing. So your developers get upskilled while they're building that product rather than they build something and at the end you go for a manual review. The auditors come back with a ton of changes and then they have to work on it. So there's a lot of back and forth in that which wastes the time of both the project owners and the auditors. So Solidity Scan in a way upskills developers in the initial stages when a new developer from Web2 is coming into this space without knowing anything about security. And it also saves a lot of time for both the auditors and the project owners.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting point of view. Like, so you get this as an iterative process when you're building the smart contract, do a final check manually, and then get it live. Like, if that's
That's
what
right.
I understand the process, which will, I think, help you in a lot of things, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you see, it's good to have at least 60 to 70% of your vulnerabilities removed. And maybe it can, it's like, I mean, it's like history is a proof that no matter how many audits you go through, something can still be there. So even manual auditors don't give, 100% assurance that, it's like, when you're audited, you are done. Uh, Take for an example, the BSC hack happened. That was a very complex, it's like that was a very complex attack, and it did require a lot of research. Whoever did the hack knew how the bridges were built, it's like how the algorithms work. So and BSC has been there for a very very long time, but then suddenly a hack happens because someone sees something which nobody did. So yeah, I mean, it's like there is always a risk in security that you can get hacked. So what I suggest to most of the companies, like while you are in development, keep an automation in place and some sort of little bit of it's like internal security uh, aided by automation, and then go for a private audit and then launch a bug bounty program, so that it's like if after all these that 1% bug, if it's left, it's like one ethical hacker can help you out, and they get rewarded instead of them. That's what my take for security, and that has worked very well in Web 2. So I think I would say it's the same for Web 3 companies as well.
Oh yeah, so that's, I think, it's like how you merge the the worlds between automation and manual, right? Instead
Yes.
of doing totally manual, which is time intensive, resource intensive, cost intensive. If you do a mix and match of both, effectively,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that, so you'll end up saving a lot of time,
Yeah.
obviously cost, and accuracy as well, because your turnaround for checks is much faster, so you'll be more accurate this time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So, so if we give a little time, understanding, say if a smart contract takes about, say, some people say it's about 1 week, depending upon, what you're building, right? Say about 5 days to 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. And you said that, it takes about 4 minutes for Solidity Scan to do a quick check.
Yeah.
So does that time change as we, put in more functionality into the contract?
No, I mean, it's like the thing is like it is a very minute difference, because we have built a very scalable product. So it does a lot of it's like multi-threading effort. So even if your contract is very big, so the 4 minute time which I was saying is was for a very very big contract. Mostly it's like for us, like for a smaller contract, it sometimes takes like 10 seconds or 5 seconds, because we have a very multi-threaded approach with processing queues, and the entire it's like our products is decoupled, like the architecture is very well built by our it's like infrastructure guy. So 4 minutes is something I was talking about, the max time. So
Okay, cool. So that's like quick, like in a
yeah,
jiffy.
yeah,
So
it's
you
very
put
very
it,
fast.
you start checking it, you go to, like have a coffee. By the time you're back, it's ready
Yeah.
with the report.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's going to revolutionize, this whole thing. That's the way I see it, being in the Web3 space. So, what is the reaction of people now? So, who's doing the sales, by the way, now?
Uh, Sales is it's like Indranil is handling the sales team as well. Like he also takes care of, apart from like development, he also takes care of business side as well. So yeah, he and he has a team of salesperson. So they take care of the sales.
Interesting. So then maybe Indranil, you could answer this. So now that you started, build this product over a year, and it's a fairly, decent, or it's I would say, uh, a very very niche market now and very required market. Like security for Web3 is like a huge demand. So how is the reaction of the industry people?
So the reaction of the industry has always been, positive from when we started. But at that time, we started as techies and we didn't know anything about sales. So we kind of started reaching out to random people on Telegram. And whenever you get a random text on Telegram, you think, first idea it's a scam. So we had a lot of, reiterations on our sales strategy, and right now we have figured out, a particular sets of points. One would be, attending events, spreading the word about security, and then talking about a product. And we have a lot of interest around it, because audit is something everyone needs, right? Uh, every project in Web3 has to go through an audit before they go live. And if you bring a solution that kind of handles 50-60% of their efforts, along with, upskilling their developers, that is something everyone is yeah, interested in. And, they at least get back, check out the product, and ask questions. So yeah, that is what we are following at the moment. We
Regarding
still got a lot more to discover regarding sales strategy, but yeah, some things have started working for us.
the feedback, it's like initially when we were building the product, so we had some complaints like our algorithms were not very optimized, so it was finding a lot of false positives. That was a very common reaction that time. It's like people were saying that, yeah, this idea is good, this product is good, but the problem is, it's like the false positives, like I'm talking about the technical side. It's like false alerts. So we worked on improving our algorithm, and we did a very major change in August. And right now, it's like those complaints have it's like gone down. And yeah, I mean, it's like people are happy with our product. So that was one of our major, it's like feedbacks which we got, that we have improved our algorithm and our findings are more accurate now.
Yeah, interesting. You see, when you're building a product, it's always important to listen to the customers, the
Yeah.
end users. Without that, you'll not be able to, how do I say it, like grow or scale the product, make it more effective. And and security is an iterative process, right? I mean, for security, it's one of the biggest, iterative processes, because there are new bugs coming in every day. There are new hacks coming in every day, and there are people who are, creating different trojans. That's what spam messages or some things like that. Which are translating now from Web 2 to Web 3 as well. Right. So you will always have to be on your toes. Is that how it is every day in your life?
Yeah, it is. Like, I mean, our research team's everyday work is to, like read about hacks. It's like whenever we see a hack, or we see even any other company publishing an audit report, we read them, we analyze them, and then we see how we can improve. And we also have to, it's like Ethereum itself, like EVM chains are itself, making drastic changes. Like they move from POW to POS. And then it's like if you talk about Solidity itself, like Solidity is introducing like groundbreaking changes with every version of them. So it's like we have to be very active. It's like with the research. Like for a very simple example, I'll give, like when we started, it's like we had to detect buffer overflow vulnerabilities, buffer overflow and buffer underflow. But then suddenly when the eighth version, like 0.08 version, 0.8.0 version came in, Solidity started handling buffer overflow directly, like from the compiler itself. So we had to, it's like make a lot of changes to our algorithm, that it's like if it's above 8, then it's safe to assume that the contract is safe from overflow vulnerabilities. So this is just one of the example. It's like we have to keep track of it's like what Solidity is doing, what Ethereum EVM chains are doing, what new hacks are coming. So it's always interesting every day. Like every day is a new day.
Oh yeah, you're going. It's like going for firefighting every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a question here. Then so obviously these products are improving every day because it's a new ecosystem. So everybody's improving. Like their life and their users' life every day. So how do you interact? So do you have to manually go ahead and or they pre-inform like maybe Solidity EVM maybe not, but Solidity, which in is the native code language for Ethereum, right? So do they tell you pre-hand that this is what we're going to do? You want to prepare your products like they have a program like this because you're not the only ones building on it, right? There's like whole lot of developers and companies working on Solidity.
I mean, it's like for us, from past 10 years, for me as well, our news feed has been Twitter. So, uh, it's like we follow a lot of security researchers, independent security researchers, developers, and we follow the companies, we check their release. So, obviously, they don't inform us that we are making these changes. But yes, they do a public announcement that, it's like whenever a new version is released, we go and check, like, what bugs they have fixed, and it's like what changes they have made. So, and does it affect us? So we hop on a call, and then when we discuss, and then we take decisions that a few things need changes. So that's how we work. I mean, it's like we keep track of them. It's like what they're doing. And it's like we have a small, it's like a research Slack channel where it's like our entire research team keeps posting whatever they see on the internet, and then we discuss on it, and if it affects us, we it's like we make the required changes. That's how that's how the research works. You have to just crawl over the internet and find things. That's it.
Okay, so that's again a lot of manual work.
Yes, but it brings a solution for others who don't have to do the manual work. We are doing it for them.
No, absolutely. That's a hands off to like you guys who have to stay on top of the game because
Yeah.
that's what your industry demands. So hats off to you guys. So in this year of building, Solidity Scan and being in this industrial security, you've seen the perception of people change because as a general, around cryptocurrencies and with this hacks happening regularly, the aura around the whole, cryptocurrency space is not very, very positive. So have you seen that change, with your interactions with different kind of people?
I'll explain this, because I have been working with security companies, and I have been into security. So the negativity is all because it's a human psychology to to perceive negativity more. So it's like if it's like that's how news and everything works, right? If you talk about positive things, nobody is going to pay attention, but if you talk about negative things, everyone is talking about it. But if you see at the positive side, these hacks, whatever it is happening, um, it's like these things will get much better than web 2. So in web 2 you never know, it's like what is going on behind, it's like what hacks are happening. So there has been many cases where it's like even if you talk about the Yahoo was accused of hiding the data breach. But here, if you see, it's like if any bridge gets hacked, or if any it's like smart contracts or DeFi project gets hacked, it is there within like an hour or less than an hour. Everybody knows about it, and that's the beauty of decentralization, because everything is public, nothing is hidden. So I mean, it's like if you see from other side, this is good. So when the security talent will catch up, when automations will catch up, and when it's like the Solidity itself, it's like when they will catch up, they will be more secure, the platform will be more secure. It's a good thing, right? Because in like unlike traditional web 2, you don't have visibility to the source code. But here in web 3 you have. In web 3 there is an approach that everyone wants a security audit. They want to see the security audit report. So uh, the path which Web3 is following is great, which Web2 never did. It's like Web2 could hide data breaches. It's like now there is a GDPR law in Europe, so they are supposed, when they are forced, then they are disclosing about data breaches. But places like India, if someone gets hacked, they can completely deny and nobody can do a thing about it. But that's completely opposite in Web3. So although I agree there is a negativity, people saying that they are not secure, but if you see at a different angle, they are more secure. Like they are more secure. The only thing you are seeing is because they are more transparent. So it's not about Web3 is insecure. It's the point of view is that Web3 is more transparent.
Adding on to
That's
that,
an
Web3, since it directly deals with your financials. Like if there's a smart contract, if I'm building a company, users are directly investing their money in it. Uh, Compared to traditional Web2, where if there was a data breach, there's your emails or data gets leaked or data gets hacked. Compared to in Web3, when it directly deals with your financials, people are more concerned, because one day you are $1 billion company, the next day you are scrap. So that's why there's a more concern on security in the Web3 space that I think.
And that is good. That is actually good. If there is a concern, it is good.
Oh yes, absolutely. Even yesterday when the hack happened, so BSC came out with the request that they were happy to know from the community, who's maybe developers, users, like or security guys, who would want to share any information possible about what could be the reason. We've never seen that happen, on any of on most of the Web2 companies.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So
like
yeah, that's something So when they say from Web2 to Web3, that is one progression, which is a good progression, right? Being transparent, open about it, right? So now I have a very basic question. Like just to understand the high, how it works. Do you see any value building on blockchain, or just hype that you see? It's going to die down over a period of time.
No, I definitely see a lot of value. Uh, the only problem which Web3 is facing is because since money is involved, and there are tons of people who marketed blockchain as an investment vehicle, but that is not the case, um, and it will take some time. But then when it's like technology will catch up, people will catch up to technology. It won't be just owning some coins and waiting for it to go 10x or 20x, which is a common notion for people. So so I mean, it's like blockchain as a technology is amazing. Like it's like the products which people are selling, people are building, really makes sense, because it's like it is moving us more towards decentralization. So I would definitely say it's like, yes, there is a problem of hyping, but that will eventually die down when it's like there will be more adopters who will get more into it's like a core technology and building things rather than just using it as an investment vehicle. So that's perception will definitely change in future.
Interesting. So you're saying that as more products come into the picture,
Yeah.
the understanding is going to there, and this technology is not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there are tons of examples. See, like when we talk about hype, so people say NFT is hype. People are selling monkeys for it's like millions of dollars. But my question to them is, was it not there before? Like, I mean, why does it's like a Mona Lisa painting is worth millions, and if someone has it's like someone others has drawn something very beautiful and it doesn't have a value. So if you talk about it's like older times where it's like paintings were sold, so that was actually there for rich people to showcase that they can buy something famous, and that paintings were definitely they were marketed, it's like they had more hype, so people were buying hype. So someone buying a painting worth of $1 million, it did exist in past as well. But if you see, NFTs makes it more it's like you can showcase it more to people. It's like now you have a worldwide audience to show that you own
Exactly.
something unique, and that the same. It's like you can have a painting at your home, and then it's like your friends can come visit, and it's like, oh, he owns that painting. But now you have an NFT which is popular, which is hype, and you want to showcase that you own it. You can show it to the whole world. Now your whole world is your viewers. So I don't see it's like why people it's like question that it's a hype. But the thing is, it was already there, but it's making it more better, is actually better. So that's just one
No,
example.
no, that's interesting, Shashank. And what's happening is, that there are a lot of NFTs which are now coming with utilities as well.
Yep.
And because that is what going to stay. I think in a way, this bear market, what it has done is it has taken out all those people who are just there for the hype.
Yeah,
And now
definitely.
the people who are building or participate in any of this, tech space are the ones which going to take it forward
Yeah,
with utilities. Because at the end, if advantages, say from Web 2 to Web 3, where you said, it could be a painting in my house, but now it's a digital painting with a physical painting, and I can do a lot more stuff.
yeah,
Like that's, I think, a big advantage of how NFTs are envisioned,
yeah.
and that is one reason why all the big brands are getting into this space.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we talk about painting, it's like suppose I own a very expensive painting offline and I want to auction it. I mean, it's not that easy. I need to exhaust my connections, bring them to my house, and then start a bid. But now, it's like if you own an NFT, it's like there are platforms which makes your NFT as a collateral and then helps you take loans, and then it's like, or maybe sell it off. Like OpenSea is a good example where you can sell off your NFTs, uh, and then still prove your ownership. So I mean, if we see, it's like it's making things easier, which was already there in our society. So I mean, that if we see it at a different angle, so yeah, it's like
Oh no,
something.
nice, absolutely, yeah.
Since we're talking
So
about NFTs, I mean, a couple of days ago, I attended a concert and the ticket was an NFT, basically. So it's like it has been a huge benefit for the creator economy, musicians, dancers, to go out there, sell their NFTs. And as much as those people keep getting famous, as the NFTs changes hands and the original creator or the musician keeps getting royalty out of it. So it kind of incentivizes the creator economy as well to get into the blockchain space, and it's more beneficial to them as well.
oh yes, absolutely, cool. So Indranil, I have a question for you. So what do you see, the status or a current state of data security on blockchain? How do you see it? Like if we, take aside Solidity Scan for a bit and just see like a bigger picture, right? You're solving that problem, but how do you see it as a general?
As a general, I mean, again, even in the Web2 space, security was at some point considered as an afterthought. I mean, you start worrying about security after you get hacked, and the thing has evolved in Web2 right now since there have been a lot of regulations around, uh, like Shashank mentioned, GDPR. Now people need to be compliant, security compliant. The same thing in Web3 is there is lack of regulations, first of all. So the founders or the project owners don't get questioned once they get hacked or, they lose a lot of money. So awareness is one thing, that needs to come into this space. Second is regulations. And people need to take ownership of the, if they're doing something wrong or if they're getting hacked, they're running away. So that is the general idea on security. It's still considered as an aftermath right now. I mean, once there's a big hack, people start talking about it. Before that, uh, they don't.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you made a very very strong point there that people don't really talk about it till the thing has happened, right? It's only when things have gone to the like rugs, then when there's a discussion, there's like a lot of media attention around it. That, oh, what about data security? So it's like prevention is better than cure. We've been taught since ages, right? But it's just that. But is why is it that, like, is it expensive? Is
I
that
have that because I have faced it. So, the biggest problem with companies right now is there is a wrong mindset. It's like, it's like as a ethical hacker, what I have seen is like I won't name the companies, but It has happened, they publicly displayed, if you find a critical vulnerability, will pay you $50,000. And then, it's like when you actually report it to them, as as an ethical hacker, they'll start negotiating, because as an ethical hacker, you are supposed to, show the bug first, and then, it's like then take your reward. And it has happened not even in web 3, it has happened in web 2 as well. But in web 3, if you will see, there were companies who, it's like who even had a bug bounty program stating like, we'll pay 50K, 100K. But then, it's like a malicious hacker comes in and then takes hold of the entire treasury, and then they are suddenly like, we'll pay you 10 million if you return the funds. So I mean, it's like it has always been the case, when, it's, I think it's a human psychology that when you get things at first place, they tend not to respect it. And this mentality needs to change for most of the companies. It's like they need to treat their ethical hackers better, and help. It's like, even if they are going for a private pen test or something like that, they need to be more supportive. Uh, and that support should be, equivalent to when you are very responsive to a black hat who has held your entire treasury. So this is one of the biggest problem in security, that, it's like the approach is bit wrong when it comes to ethical hacking, and the response is quite different and very fast, and very rewarding when when it comes to a black hat holding your treasury. So that's something I have faced, and I really hope that that would definitely change.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think it's going to be one step at a time.
Yeah,
How things will change.
yeah.
Interesting. So here, so we are pretty much out with the, like discussion here. I have a couple of just, like kind of questions. Uh, Both of you, how do you see the outlook of Web3 or blockchain growth in India? Like, positive, neutral, negative. Like Shashank, you can go first.
So I'm very positive about it, and there's a reason behind that. So it's like India has proved that they are really good with tech, and it's like recently. So I do a lot of, it's like I give talks on security. Like, even when I was in Web 2, I used to give talks. So recently I gave a talk at Ahmedabad. There were, it's like a lot of students, like, they were mostly third year students, fourth year students, fewer first year students, and they are super interested to learn about, new technologies and new things. So if you see, we have, great developers, like we have proved, it's like we are running, the US tech and techs in Europe. I know most of the companies you will see, the tech leads are Indians. So we have definitely produced a good amount of engineers, and migrating from web 2 to web 3 is not a big deal, because eventually it's all, oops concept, and, general programming concept. All you need to do is just go through the documentation, and then you can start building one. So India is seeing a huge adoption, and I have personally seen, it's like students now talking about getting into blockchain development. And the proof is that, if you see, Bangalore, I stay in Bangalore, so Bangalore is a startup hub, like India's all biggest startup, start here. So I'm in touch with, a lot of blockchain companies, and their CTOs and CEOs are like 25-year-old techies. So that is amazing, because yes, I agree, blockchain is kind of a difficult tech. But it's like, when you see, 20 people in their 20s uh, starting a company, and then, the future is bright. That's how it works.
Interesting.
Adding,
Indranil,
yeah, yeah. Adding on to that, one trend I see in Web3 is that companies don't see what your background is, how much experience you have, uh, like whether you are perfect for the job or not. They don't see like from which country you belong in. So mostly India being a tech country, we have seen a lot of adoption in India for crypto and for that, and that's because uh, I've talked to a lot of companies, and they're paying US based salaries in India as well, and that's happening only in crypto mostly. So that is what I think. India is going to be the crypto hub going forward, and everything about crypto is available on the internet, like how you learn. People are supportive. I mean, if you you can apply for a meetup or a conference and you'll get accepted, and there you'll meet directly the founders of the projects that you're working with, and people are open to talk about their projects. The community is a very huge part of crypto. I mean, it's a mostly community dominated platform. So that is what I feel, is positive about crypto and the Indian crypto community.
Interesting. Nice. Oh yes, so like all the people that I have spoken to, lately, either on the show or otherwise, everybody is very bullish, about this tech space growing up here, in India. So that's fantastic. So one advice from both of you, one critical advice that you think, very important to grow in this industry, especially for students, because they're the ones, who's going to come and take over and build new products, come with fresh ideas. One critical piece of advice. Indranil, we could go with you first.
So one critical advice would be beware of the scams that are happening in this place because it's like 50 to 60%. I mean, you join a new group, 100 people will text you with different kind of constructive ideas. I mean, some things are too believable in me. I mean, if something is looking too good to be true, don't go for it. I mean, do your own research before investing in any project, and be very careful before you're making a transaction.
Nice. Thank you. Shashank, what do you have to say?
What I would suggest is like, a lot of crypto adoption happened is because people thought it is a shortcut to make money. What I would advise to students is like, instead of, looking at the charts and, trading your meme coins for money, it's like, what I would, it's like I've seen all three cycles: the 2014 cycle, 2017 cycle, 2019 cycle. And what I've realized is, at the end, the general users, the general adopters who come in after the hype lose their money. So don't go in there for, it's like, I would say it's like, don't go in there for money, go in for the tech. And that is applicable for everything, not only cryptos. Like, you should focus as a student, you should focus on learning things. And money is always a byproduct. Yeah, I don't say that you die poor or something like that. It's like, definitely, for financial, it's like being financially good is really necessary. But then if you just focus on making money, you skip learning. So as a student, you should be learning more. And money is always a byproduct of things which you are learning. So that happens on its own. So I have seen very common, in uh, whenever I talk about, say, it's like blockchain tech and everything, I will have one person at least who will question, it's like, is crypto a scam, because they have lost money. The only problem is, students get into it because they think that, they will invest money and they'll make good money. So I mean, it's like, if you really want to make money, it's like, you should build something valuable, and you will see, the byproduct of it, which will make you financially strong. But if you just run after money, then eventually you will lose everything. So that's what my advice is.
Nice. So ours says be aware, DYOR, that's Indranil says. And Shashank says that, it's important to have patience, is what I, like to sum it up in one word: patience,
Yeah.
which is going to be important, to grow in this field. Fantastic, guys. I think we are right at the end. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
And it was a pleasure hosting you here. It's amazing tech, especially few insights that you gave. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Alec. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers. Let me just end this.